Hey everybody, how you doing? Street Smart Cyclist or KFT, I'm not really sure who's here, but I'm here. How about that? This is going to be a new video format for the channel for sure. If you have known me from my previous uploads, you probably know the speedrunning stuff, or maybe the car seat headrest re-upload, but this is going to be a little bit of a departure from that sort of content. So, I've always wanted to make a sort of maybe like therapeutic talking based video over some Team Fortress 2 footage, just because I think it's pretty zen, and I like talking about stuff like this, and yeah, I finally have the opportunity to, because I got a new computer. And those of you who know me in real life know just how long of a time coming that's really been. I've been playing on the same crappy laptop I got on Black Friday of like 2016 for the past 9 years, and it has been quite a workhorse. It was supposed to be my college laptop, but then I just ended up playing games on it too. And damn, nice shot. And I loved her for a long time, but sooner or later you gotta upgrade, and upgrade I did. I will put my exact new specs in the description. It's nothing. It's not crazy supercomputer or anything. A lot of it was hand-me-down parts from my brother, who upgraded himself, or his coworker, who was also upgrading. So, it's not top of the line or anything, but it gets the job done. I'm glad to be done with that old system. So, I can finally record footage like this. I can play other games and record that. So you can expect to see a lot more stuff like that on the channel in the near future. So I wanted to make this video because I had some things on my mind I wanted to talk about. So, we're switching to Dust Bowl here. Excuse the vlog pyro for a little. This footage might be a bit hard to stomach, but it's pretty fun every once in a while. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I like to call missing the point. And, this isn't like, we're not talking about Super Buu here, alright? We're not talking about,
you're missing the point.
and we're not talking about perfect cell. We're not talking about, I'm going to suck you up. We're not talking about anything of the sort. What we're talking about is the idea that, you have to give your life, a holier than thou meaning. I think a lot of people ask themselves this question of like, happiness. Are you happy? And I think that creates a sort of expectation for yourself that you should be doing this, this, and this all the time, to be making the most of your life. And if you're not, you're not happy. And if you're not happy, what are you doing? And I think that puts pressure on people to, do things maybe they wouldn't otherwise do, to make mistakes, and to not learn to stop and smell the roses, which is, it's an expression everyone's heard, but like, there's a difference in knowing like about an expression and understanding like what it really means. There's a book I was reading pretty recently, Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. Give it a read if you're interested in some like it's Eastern philosophy but presented in a Western way, and really it's about self-discovery, and it hits on a lot of topics like that. I think it was a beautiful book that really spoke to me. But the point is that knowledge can be passed down by teachers, but wisdom is something that you learn. I'm not wise, okay? I'm 23. Well, I guess I just turned 24. Fuck. I'm 24. Shit. Uh, I'm 24, and, I've learned a bit, over my time, but, I'm no, wise beard as much as I would like to believe I am. Um, but, yeah, missing the point. This was a lesson I had to learn, pretty aggressively. What is that? What is that? Just walking in front of him and taunting. Whatever. Holy shit. Oh, this is not right. This is wrong. This is a wicked character. Um, this is a lesson I had to learn, pretty much the hardest way you can, over the last couple of years. If you know me, you know the story. If you don't, well, strap yourselves in, because I am going to elucidate you on a brief history of the last few years of my life. Basically, the TLDR is I wanted to be an artist really badly. I drew every day for like 6 years or something crazy like that. By the way, you should take breaks if you like something. You should spend some days where you don't do it. that can burn you out. So I saved a bunch of money. I made a portfolio. Got myself into art school, and it went really well at first. I. Oof. You can hear. That's my friend Rain in the background. If you hear someone sort of mumbling, that was disgusting. I deserve that. Yeah, I was doing really well. I mean, I was in classes I liked. I was doing something I was passionate about. And then, in the fall of my first semester, I was unfortunately struck by the passing of my father. It was really hard on me and my family emotionally, and I fell into this stupor for a little bit where I didn't want to work on anything anymore. And I had to finish the semester. I took time off for bereavement, just like because God, it was just so much. And eventually I went back and I finished the semester, but I was still trying to pick myself up off the ground, in a way. And I remembered at the time there was a thing I had heard from people who I thought were special, who were great leaders, who were, I thought I wanted to be more like. And what they told me was that when things get really rough, you just bury yourself in your work. You do as much of it as you can to get it out of your head, and that can make getting through it easier while still, not, falling completely to pieces. And as much as I think I wanted to try that, because I wanted to be like these people. They were some of the most important people I had met in my life, who like really inspired me in a lot of ways. So the spring semester I did that, and I just made school my whole life. It was just about all that I did. It was just about all that I really thought about. I didn't have hobbies outside of it. I didn't have time. It was so much work. God, don't ever go to art school if you're not planning to make it everything, because it is your whole life. It is crazy. God, how much work they expect you. And of course, you have to learn to like all this stuff and step away from it even when you don't want to, which fucking sucks. But yeah, I made it everything, and it was rewarding for a while. Like I said, I was in classes that I liked. I was making work that I liked. I was doing well. It was at the same time I was with someone who I thought I was gonna. We had been together on and off for a while, and I thought we were gonna be together forever. We had talked about stuff like that. But eventually, all of the work and the putting off of the emotional labor just all caught up to me. And I remember I was on like a multiple day bender working on this assignment, and I finished it, and it was time to go to class, and I just couldn't. I just laid down in the bathtub, and I just could not go. I couldn't make myself, and that was the beginning of the end, in a lot of ways. And it started with that. I stopped going to school, and then my relationship with her became stressed. And before I knew it, I was out of school. I was out of my job. I didn't have, I was single. I didn't have a lot of the friends I used to have. It was really hard. And the point of all this is to say, before then, I think what I wanted from life was, I wanted this greater meaning. I wanted to be someone special, and I thought that to do that, I mean, I of course I loved art by itself, but I thought that me liking it and me making art and being someone who did all these things was what made me special. And when I stopped doing all that, and when I stopped, being in these people's lives, and I felt like I wasn't enriching anyone's, I just, that was where I got my worth from, and I felt like I didn't have any anymore. And that shook my world to its core. I had no self-worth. I I had lost just about everything I thought that I had. And I think in losing all of that, I think I learned how much of it really was meaningful to me, and how much of my life as it was, was what made it special. It wasn't that I drew pictures. It wasn't that I did things for people. It was just that my life was worth, living inherently. It had value beyond, what I could do as a cog in a machine. It's so easy to fall into that, especially in the sort of world we live in, where, it's all about, productivity. What can you do? Stay busy, don't waste time, because if you're wasting time, you're wasting money. And I think it's also important to know that, like, you're, someone outside of that, and that's not who you are. Life is not a competition with your peers. You can't win, there isn't gonna be a scoreboard at the end. So yeah, after all that, I kind of just laid around by myself for a while, and it was hard. It was really hard, but over time, one by one, I started doing things again. I got a job again. I applied to class again. I started talking to people. This is another thing. I completely expunged the idea of looking for someone out of my mind. Because after we broke up, it kind of, it scared the shit out of me. Because, I was at the age where people are starting to get married, and I was like, fuck, like, that was my whole thing, and I was just gone. I'm gonna fall behind if I don't get back up. Like, it's like schoolwork, like I have to catch back up on it. But, yeah, so I spent a lot of time, like, is this the right person? This one must be, like, forcing myself to meet people, and forcing myself to believe that these were the right people. But, of course, anyone who's ever done that will tell you after long enough that that is not how you meet people. That's not how relationships are formed. You can't go looking for something like that. You'll disappoint yourself every time. And I think that's just sort of been my MO for a while, a little bit now, to just be like, okay, I can't keep putting all of myself into other people, because I don't even have my own stuff sorted out. So it's just been a lot of, like, self-improvement since then. I've had personal projects, some of you might remember the Screamy stuff I uploaded before. I wish I had finished that, but maybe I still will. but it's been a lot of trying to just up my like mental game so I can stop feeling like I'm sabotaging myself. It's been a lot of patience. It's been reading. It's been teaching myself, like going back to Siddhartha, teaching yourself the wisdom through learned experience that maybe you can't get from reading from others, which is funny because I got that from reading from a book. But it's real. I mean, I have lived experience that coalesces with that. So maybe it's legit. Jeez, God, this class is crazy. You can hear Rain. She's cheering me on. Big shout outs to Rain. Thank you, Rain. That guy was up to no good. Um, so yeah, I think if anyone here, if you've seen Neon Genesis Evangelion, which if you're on my channel, you just might have, but I see when I was younger, I think I related a lot to Rei and Shinji, just as, like being like autistic and hating myself and stuff. But as I've grown older and gotten over a lot of that, yeah, I got over being autistic. I got over a lot of that. I think I relate a lot to Asuka because I see a lot of that, my own self discovery in this time frame in Asuka, in the way she reacted to Kaoru becoming the pilot of O2, the way she like lost her self-worth and whatnot. That story's great. It has so many layers. You can keep coming back to it and keep finding more. And God, it just looks so good. I always wanted to make stuff like that, but like, who doesn't, right? Who wants to? Oh, I want to make like The Flash 2023. That's the kind of stuff I want to make. And of course, everybody wants to make fucking something amazing like and well written like Evangelion. But I think we have one or two more clips here. I skipped one of the rounds because it was just a stomp. And it wasn't even like a fun stomp. It was just like I didn't even get to do anything. My team just like splatted them, just pasted them, and I was just like walking around like, "Whoa, guys, are we pushing?" So yeah, I guess that was the majority of what I wanted to talk about here. You know, you're worth more than what the sum of your parts. You're worth more than what you do, and the people in your life know that, even if they don't always tell you. And yeah, I think from here, I am just going to let this play out a little bit. Damn. Nice. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like the video, you can hit one of the silly little buttons at the bottom, or write a comment about how I stink, which is not true, and I shower every day. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. Like, why did I do this?